Welcome to Voices of Transformation. Here I talk to women and men who change the world one conversation or session at the time. My name is Omon, and I am an NLP practitioner and hypnosis practitioner. Today I have the honor of having Lori Hammond as my guest. Welcome, Lori.
Thank you, Omong. I'm so honored to be here. I'm looking forward to this conversation.
And I know that it's early in your neck of the woods, so to speak. So thank you for getting up early to talk to me.
My pleasure. I'm a morning person, so it was good.
Awesome. Some people may know you very well because you host Transit Tuesdays, but some people may not know you at all. So would you like to tell us a little bit about who you are?
Sure. I am a hypnotist, a hypnotherapist, hypnotist. I do hypnosis sessions for hypnotherapists primarily, and that is in my Transy Tuesdays group every week. It is super fun for me. It was very surprising when I set up my group sessions that mostly hypnotherapists came in because we love to be on the receiving end of hypnosis. We're so often giving hypnosis to others. And for us to be able to sit and experience hypnosis is a really beautiful treat. And then the people in Transy Tuesdays also get to utilize all the tools that I use in Transy Tuesdays for their own clients. And I got in. Do you want me to talk a little bit about how I got into this? Or
Absolutely.
okay. So I got into hypnosis. I was actually really scared of hypnosis. I grew up thinking that hypnosis was not a good, it was not okay, was kind of evil and was mind control. And so when I started listening to a podcast about hypnosis from a person who's now my dear friend, Mike Mandel and Chris Thompson. And I just listened with curiosity and I started thinking, what if this is a tool that could help me? Because I had been in therapy for decades. I had tried everything. I had tried pills and potions and anything I could think of to help myself manage my weight. Is the
I
original
was just going to ask how it come that you came into this industry. So that's
yeah.
really because I think ordinary people, we all have something that drives us to seek help in one shape or form. And
Yeah.
so what was yours?
Yeah, so I came into hypnosis for help with my weight. And I had kind of forgotten about I was no longer trying to fix the deeper issue, which was chronic, deep, debilitating depression that I had experienced since childhood. I've been diagnosed with severe clinical depression multiple times, had tried everything, and I had just given up hope. And so, as I was using hypnosis to learn about weight management, this magical thing happened underneath the surface that I wasn't expecting and that I didn't realize until I looked back and realized I'm not depressed Lori anymore. And people were telling me, you radiate, you're so magnetic, you're such a happy person. And it was so strange because Omong, I actually had a family member, a close family friend, sit me down, probably, oh gosh, it's been 15 years ago now, and look me in the eye and say, Lori, you are the most negative person I have ever been around. Nothing that comes out of your mouth, like everything that comes out of your mouth, is either complaining about something or criticizing something or feeling sorry for yourself. And I just wept because I didn't realize that's how I portrayed myself. And it made me so sad because that is how I felt inside. And for me to understand hypnosis, to understand the neuroscience underneath why it works, to understand that it's not evil, witchcraft, or mind control, and to realize how simple it is to change a person's life if they engage with the tools, or to change my own life if I consistently use the tools. It was just so life changing for me that I thought this is what I want to be when I grow up.
And this is not probably a thing to ask a lady. How old were you when you did that discovery, as you say, you wanted to know, be this when you grew up?
Yes, so that was not quite a decade ago. I'm 51, so it was about, I believe I was about 43 when I started exploring hypnosis. So I was already a grown up, but I'm still not a grown up in my own mind. It's
We never grow up.
yeah.
I want to leave you a question that you can have percolate in the back of your mind. And
Okay.
that is, in your years as a hypnotist, what has been the boldest risk that you have taken, and how did it pay off? So I want you to think about that and let it percolate, and we'll recircle it at the end. So
Okay, I love this. Thank you.
you're so welcome. So there was a huge shift from before till now, because I have had the privilege of attending Transit Tuesdays, and I also had the privilege this summer of meeting you in real life. We had a day in Stockholm visiting our outdoor museum, Skansen. A lovely day, and the person you are describing is so far away from the person I've been talking and I've been meeting. So it's really difficult to see this negative person that you are talking about. So the transformation have had to be major.
Yes. And what I have discovered with hypnosis is that when a person experiences transformation in the context of hypnotherapy or hypnosis, whether it's self hypnosis tools or hypnosis with a practitioner, so often when a person experiences that transformation, it's so complete and so subconscious, which is the part that was causing the problem in the first place, that they almost don't remember what it was like to have the problem. And they almost don't remember, like, realize the transformation that has happened because it's like an identity shift.
It's
And
gone.
that's,
It's
yeah.
gone.
And that's certainly what I experienced where I still have moments. I still have sad things happen in my life. I still have difficulty. I'm not immune to any of that. So I still experience a down mood once in a while. But instead of that being my default way of showing up in the world, it's now this occasional thing that I experience where before my default way of showing up in the world was as depressed Lori, and I might experience occasional glimpses of joy. And it was just such an identity level change. And it truly happened for me. It didn't happen in a hypnosis session with another hypnotist. I would have loved for it to, but it happened as I was teaching other people these tools, and I was utilizing the tools that I was teaching over and over and over and over and over again until it literally changed who I am uh, on an identity level.
What I love about hypnosis is, excuse me, that instead of, woo-woo, it's science. It's about
Mhm.
our neurological system, that
Yeah,
you open new paths as you try different things. It's
yeah,
like you're having a highway over here with a habit that does not support your life, and you're going there constantly, and suddenly you take a detour to maybe barely could see a way to go forward. And you start to go there more and more and more, and suddenly this highway disappears, and it's no longer there, which ties very well into what you were saying about the shift we experience or other people experience as we help them. It's a new identity shift because this path is forgotten.
yes. I love that way of looking at it. And it's interesting because early in my career, I did a presentation at Hypnothoughts, which is the world's largest hypnosis conference. And I had only been doing hypnosis for about a year. And so it was really intimidating for me to think about presenting to my peers. And most of the people in the room had been doing hypnosis longer than I have. And when I did the presentation, this kind of circles back to your earlier question. This is one of the scariest things I've done um, as a hypnotherapist. But I'm looking at these people, and I showed them this graph called Dilt's logical levels of change, and it's a pyramid. I was just thinking about this yesterday because I don't remember all the exact levels, but at the bottom, it's like the environment, it's our behaviors, our beliefs, our capabilities, and then up towards the top is our identity. And when a person has an identity level shift, it changes what they're capable of. It changes what they believe. It changes their behaviors. It changes the way they respond to their environment. And so often when a person goes to see a therapist, they're trying to change the way they respond to their environment. They're trying to change, think about it in the context of a relationship. This relationship is driving me nuts. And I need to figure out, a lot of times it's how to make them change, or sometimes it's how I can deal with this. And we come up to all these different levels, but when we experience that identity level shift, we don't have to try to fix everything else, because we just show up in a different way and all of that transforms. And it's a beautiful situation. I think the hardest thing about it is accepting how easy and how simple it is when we've
Mhm.
struggled and we've tried and we've efforted for so long. So it's a beautiful, beautiful. I'm very, very grateful for hypnosis.
Well, it's hypnosis and NLP. One of my trainers had a really good metaphor for this. If you have a cup of coffee and then you add milk, it's still coffee, but now it's a new flavor. And then
Mhm.
if you add sugar, it's still coffee, but just something new. So you can change habits, but that's still on this level. But if you change your belief, that's like adding milk in your coffee. It goes through every layer, and it you cannot take the milk out of the coffee once it's there.
Right. Oh, I love that.
So that's something so profound. And I think people who are not accustomed to either hypnosis or NLP, for obvious reasons, don't know about this.
Right.
I know that, and you were talking a little bit about it earlier, that you are no stranger to hardships. And I think a lot of people who see other people, if I was seeing you for the first time at Transit Tuesday, for instance, I wouldn't believe that you had any hardship in your life. You're
Mhm.
competent, you are showing up, you are smiling, but everybody has their own sets of problems. And do you have any special kind of modalities or things that enable you to cope better? Because we are all looking for, can I fix this? How can I fix this? Do you have any tips?
Yes. So the thing that has helped me the most is going to be something that the listener might feel is so simple and so easy that they don't want to try it. So I just want to double dare anyone who's listening to play around with what I'm about to tell you. And I will tell you, so some of the difficulty that I have experienced in recent years, there's been some um family relationship stuff in my most precious relationships that have left me in a place of deep despair at times, thinking, oh, that like if this it just has, for lack of a better way of putting it, broken my heart.
That's a
And
eloquent way. I think
yes,
everybody can relate to that.
yeah. And I found myself, honestly, this is, probably not quite a year ago, found myself thinking, and I've thought this a few times. So if you're a hypnotherapist and you've ever thought this way, know that you are exactly where you are meant to be. And that is thinking these tools don't work. I thought I had changed, but I haven't really changed because I'm in this deep, deep, just a deep depression for several weeks. And I started using the tool that I'm about to share with you, and it felt almost like betrayal.
How
Because when
come?
we're in a place of when we're in a dark place, when we're in a place of fear or overwhelm or sadness or depression or grief, there's this a, a prehistoric part of the brain that people sometimes refer to as the lizard brain that wants to keep us safe by keeping us ruminating in that yuck. But when we're in the middle of that dark place, it actually makes us less resourceful. It makes us less likely to be able to see our way through. And so I think the first step is understanding that it is appropriate and that you are worthy of stepping out of that dark place. So it's just acknowledging, and you might not feel it and it might not feel logical, but it's just saying, okay, it's okay for me to step out of this. And for me, I could not get to a place where I could feel positive about that situation, where I could think positive thoughts about that situation. So every time I caught myself in a fearful place about that situation, I would come back to this moment and I would look at three things I could see, three things I could hear, and three things I could feel with my body. And I'm not talking about emotions, I'm talking about the air on my skin, or my clothing on my shoulder, or my hair on my cheek. Um, and I call it the 3 by 3. And you can even do it with one thing at a time. It takes a few seconds. And what it does is it shuts off that rumination. It takes us out of the past where we're worrying about something that happened in the past, or out of the future where we are obsessing about something that may or may not happen in the future. And it brings us into right now in this moment. And there is so much peace, even as I'm saying this, so much peace in this present moment. Is it okay if I walk the listener through real quick?
Absolutely. I would love for you to do that. Please do.
Okay. So what I invite you to do as you listen is, and if even you can actually even do this if you're driving, feel your hands on the steering wheel as you're doing this. And I want you just to look at three things you see. And if you're driving, it might be the car in front of you, noticing the trees on the shoulder of the road or something like that. But just look around the room, and I want you to name those things in your mind. You can even name them out loud if you would like. And then I want you just to be quiet for a moment and just notice three sounds that you can hear, and just name those in your mind. This one often takes the longest because we don't realize it. We hear the AC running, or I can hear my computer running, or if you're in your car, you might hear the sound of the air as you're driving through. So I'll be quiet for a moment and let you just name three things you can hear.
So
And
to see, to hear, and to
yes.
feel.
And then the final is to feel. And it's so useful to feel the sensation of the earth beneath your body. So you might be standing, you might be sitting, you might be lying down, just noticing how it feels to be resting on the surface underneath you. That's one of the most useful things to feel. And you can even, as a bonus, you can take a deep inhale and let it out with a sigh of relief. And what that does is it takes all that stressy, freaked out energy that was kind of up in the air and brings it down into the body. And it shows you it is safe to be here in this moment. And it took me a minute to walk you through that, but it's something that you can get really good at doing right in the middle of the tumult of life, when life feels really hard, when you're feeling anxious, stressed, depressed, grief stricken, whatever you're feeling. That exercise is a really profound way to do it. And doing it once isn't going to change everything. It will change everything in that moment. But as you do it over and over and over, and you acknowledge that sometimes you remember and sometimes you don't, as you continue to do it, you start to retrain your nervous system, your unconscious mind, the part of you that used to automatically go to that scary place, your inner lizard, if you will. You start to recalibrate that part of yourself for peace, for stillness, for presence, which makes you so resourceful and helps you find creative and interesting solutions to the things that were keeping you stuck before.
And it's a good way to play around with this. For sure, it instantaneously brings you out of a panic mode because you
Yes.
cannot panic and at the same time start looking around or feeling or hearing. So the brain can't do two things at the same time. Well, we can walk and talk, but not this one. And so it's so good. And I practice this. And I often, when I sit down, I meditate every day. I can just feel like the floor, I'm resting on the floor or the cushion, and it's
Mhm.
carrying me. It's not that I'm sitting on it, but I'm being carried, and all the things that's in my mind is also being carried. So everybody can find their own way with this. I think it's a beautiful example of how to push through something without the hardship, without pushing, just being aware and allowing yourself to relax into the moment.
Yes, I love that. I love that how you worded it as being carried as well. That's such a beautiful way to think about it.
I wanted to ask you, because you've been at this for a number of years now, have you discovered that you have let a belief or identity go throughout your journey?
Oh, so for sure, so many. So I've talked about the depressed Lori identity that I used to just I would say it about myself all the time. I'm depressed. I'm depressed. And I felt broken. So I've let that go. And another really profound one, it really has to tie in again with the question you asked at the start. What have I done that is scary? And it was this idea. So I married when I was 18 years old because I didn't think that I could figure out how to make it on my own. And I thought the only way to get out of my miserable family home was to get married, and which actually moved me into another really miserable family home. And so going through that process and starting to just ask myself, what if I am capable of taking care of myself, of taking care of my children without um, an oppressive figure in our life, starting to ask myself. And so with hypnosis, I don't know if I could articulate one really difficult thing that stands out more than others. I have done difficult thing after scary, freaking out. The first time I did a hypnosis session, a group hypnosis session, and I think perhaps everyone on the call was a hypnotist who had been practicing for longer than I was. And the imposter syndrome was so strong. And I thought, they're all going to figure out that I don't know what I'm doing. What if this doesn't work? And just doing things like that over and over and over. So that I would say that that is one of the most profound ways that I have experienced shifts in the before and after with hypnosis, is understanding that waiting to feel ready is an absolute joke. We never feel ready. Taking action when you're freaking out, when you're scared, is the only way to start to move into that readiness. And for me, it's seeing results and seeing things go well. Seeing hearing testimonials from the people that I did those first sessions with, and realizing this is changing people's lives and so liberating. It's not me doing it, it's just me unlocking the part of them that knows how to do it. So that was really beautiful.
That's the thing about what we do, to see the transformation where, the light bulb goes off and you see, yeah. And I love how you started this when you was talking right now, that what if this goes well? I
Yeah.
like and love those. What if I succeed?
Oh,
What if
yes.
this really happens, instead of doom scrolling or, you know, putting some sort of negativity on ourselves? It's never going to work. With that
Yeah.
attitude, it's not going to work. But the hope, because I'm a big believer in hope. I find that faith and hope lives very closely together. And I love faith, but I love hope even more because hope is there when you in despair, when you're not sure. Faith somehow at times can be perceived that you really know something. And hope is when you don't know, you still believe and hope that this will push through or come through. So I love what if? And you have
Yes.
this positive statement.
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
So the question I asked in the beginning of something you'd done that was really scary, you have done multiple things like that.
Yes, it's interesting. It's a perfect opportunity to talk about this with you because I did a scary thing recently and totally botched it. So we had our Transy Tuesdays call, and I was telling everyone about this amazing card trick that I did that I have just learned. And I said, at the end of the session, I'll teach you how to do it. And everybody's like leaning in, they're on the edge of their seat. And I actually chose you to do the card trick, and we're going through it, and right at the beginning I botched it, and it kind of fell flat, and I said, oh, everybody's gonna realize how this works now. And you know what, I didn't die.
Oh, you were
I'm
very
still
much
okay.
alive.
Yeah, and I think that what we do, we make ourselves feel like if this doesn't work, it's that lizard again, and we don't consciously think this, but that lizard feels like it's a life or death situation.
It's
And
the end of
there's
the world.
yeah, and there's so many times when it's so much safer. It's so much more adventurous just to say, what if, to try it out, and maybe it falls flat, maybe you screw up, maybe you fall on your face, and then you get to pick yourself back up and do the next thing.
I I don't remember the entire thing, but a metaphor. This was a military person, and he was doing stuff in the military, and his CEO, I think you call them, he did something and he didn't do it well. He botched it, and he was always saying, "Good." And this was driving this person nuts. So he was coming at one point of time and telling his CEO, "I've done this and this, but you're just going to say good." And so he was very annoyed and finally asked, "Why do you say it like that?" "Well, I say it like that because you are still alive. You get to try another thing another day." So the rest is feedback on you can do this or you can do that. And good, you're still at it and you can do it differently. And I think that's a lot of what we have been talking today. We can do things differently if we know how to do it. And if not, we'll have some help on the way.
Yes, I love that.
I so enjoy talking to you, and you know that. It's been a true pleasure having you here. If somebody is curious about what the things you are doing, where can they find you?
Yes, the simplest way to find me would be to go to my website, trancypants.com. I like silly things, and it's TRANCYPANTS. And there's a place to contact me there on that page and learn a little bit more about what I do. Come join us in Transy Tuesdays if you'd like. And I would love to hear from the listener.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much. And you have so much left of your day. I have a little less because we have like 7 or 8 hours in differences. But I enjoyed talking to you and I wish you have a really good day. So see you soon.
Thank you, Among. See you
Thank
soon.
you.